Evening, friends. Wow, just a little crowded out there. But first, let's take a selfie. Or three so I can get everyone in this. Gala on three. 1, 2, 3. Center. Gala on three. 1, 2, 3. And obviously, last but not least, my favorite. Gala on three. So, my name is Deklin Fitzgerald, and I am one of the two 2022 Mitchell Scholars from Oceanside High School, up the coast in Rockland. I just began my senior year at the University of Southern Maine, where I am studying media studies with a double minor in public relations and political science. When I'm not in class, I'm often behind a camera building my photography business. It's an honor to be with you tonight and to have the opportunity to share my story as a low-income, first-generation college student. While this experience is my own, I know it reflects the stories of many other Mitchell Scholars and young people across this state. My past has never been an easy topic. I was born in Rockland, and even though I graduated there, my path over the next 18 years was anything but linear. I don't remember much from early childhood, which is probably why I imagine those years to be perfect. I would like to think that there was a time when my brother and I had the peace of a home with 2 loving parents and not a care in the world. Unfortunately, that wasn't the case. What I do remember is that my father left. My mother spiraled into drug dependency. From 1st grade to 6th, I lived in 1 homeless shelter, 7 different towns, 2 different counties, and over a dozen homes, motels, and apartments. Eventually, after bouncing between my aunt's and my mother's custody, the Department of Health and Human Services intervened and placed us in the foster system. I wish I could say that things turned around when I was placed with my grandparents at the end of 5th grade, but the damage was done. I was on track to become just another statistic in the eyes of the state. Now, how did I get here? From being a statistic to speaking to you. I want you to picture yourself when you were in middle school. What happened that defined you? Who were you? And what was your future? I can tell you where I was. I was a young and awkward, timid kid. I couldn't comprehend why my friends didn't like me. I was pushed to run track in order to fit in, but I stood out from the crowd. I was authentically myself, making me a target for bullies. While I spent much of middle and high school as a shy kid in my older brother's shadow, once he graduated, I finally felt like I was free to be myself. I branched out and tried theater, did an independent study, and discovered my love for writing. It was that love of writing that inspired my interest in college. I was determined to apply to the Pratt Institute in New York for writing. Now, I wish I could say I applied, but not all dreams come true. My family, who knew nothing about college, told me that applying would be a mistake, that I'd hate it, that I needed to be realistic, and that writing wouldn't pay the bills compared to an actual job. Growing up in an environment that didn't foster independent thinking, it limited how I viewed my abilities. So my major changed, my dreams changed, and I applied to local schools as a media studies major, not a writing major. I knew college would only be attainable through scholarships, so I applied to as many as I could find. When it came time to apply for the Mitchell Scholarship, my gut sensation was that it would be a pipe dream. I always felt that I was less than, not deserving, and not worthy, which is why I was completely shocked when my name was called at awards night, knowing that I was selected to be a Mitchell Scholar based off my merit and my hard work. It felt astonishing. I was relieved that I would attend college with considerably less debt than I imagined. I wasn't the valedictorian, nor was I the salutatorian. I was barely in the top 10% of a class of 120. But for some reason, someone believed in me, and that moment changed my life. For many young adults, the idea of leaving home for college right out of high school, it can be scary, it can be daunting. But I had never felt more free than when my family dropped me off at college. Being on my own was a liberating experience. The ability to go wherever I wanted without question. It was sensational. Some of that confidence can be attributed to knowing what resources and support I had access to as a Mitchell Scholar. My first interactions with the Mitchell Institute happened the summer before college. Getting to know and meet scholars of shared backgrounds and different interests, it eased my fears and helped me feel more confident and comfortable arriving on campus. While getting to college was a huge achievement, these last 3 years haven't just challenged my willpower, but also my survival. It's been an uphill battle to persevere and stay enrolled. I've worked anywhere from 30 to 60 hours per week to pay my bills, all on my own. And even still, some expenses are out of reach. For example, the first winter of college, my car needed a repair that my wallet simply could not handle. Where most students like me would be alone in navigating this kind of issue, the Mitchell Institute's emergency fund helped me cover the cost of the repairs. Thankfully, these funds also helped me on a few other occasions to afford textbooks and summer housing. The available resources reminded me that I wasn't alone, and there was someone who believed in me just as much as I did. Without these additional supports, not only would I have had to work myself to the bone and neglect my classes, but I may have had to drop out altogether. Oftentimes, I stop and ask myself why. Despite everything, haven't I let go? I can't begin to tell you how many times I have contemplated taking a gap semester or just leaving this part of my life behind me because of how alone I have felt. Regardless of the challenges life has thrown at me, I have been determined to break the mold, defy the odds, and be the change. I want to reaffirm that this is my story, and much of that resilience has been fostered through my friendships and the continuous support of the Mitchell Network. From advice on connecting with a therapist and navigating family dynamics, to not only helping me as a student, but also the professional sense, the Mitchell Institute has been there for me. When another scholar asked me to photograph their mother's wedding, the Institute put me in touch with an alumni wedding photographer who gave me invaluable advice. When I needed transportation after surgical procedures, Andrea Mitchell was able to give me a ride. When I truly felt alone as a freshman, I credit Mile One for saving my life, a reminder of the shared experiences and friends that I have made. During the process of writing this speech, I was informed that in the course of 3 years, I had utilized Mitchell Institute resources over 50 times. I could write a book about all of these interactions, from no agendas and galas to Mila events. But at the end of the day, it's more than a scholarship. The Mitchell Institute community is one big family whose support rallies for each other's goals and dreams. One of my dreams was to go to Ireland. This past year, thanks to the Mitchell Institute's fellowship program, I had that opportunity. It was more than just a trip. It was a journey in friendship, kinship, and connection. I went with the intention to not only see a new place, but to experience it, step outside of my comfort zone, and immerse myself in a different culture. Now, even though all dreams don't come true, I have discovered that we have the power to shape our dreams. It is astounding how so much can change over 3 years with the right amount of support and resources that foster dream making, even those that used to seem out of reach. Seeing firsthand the strength of pushing your comfort zone, it's empowering. I traveled to Ireland. I made a dream come true. The trip was both daunting and liberating. Leading up to the flight, I was asked about a dozen times why I was traveling overseas if I had never even been on a plane before. Oh yeah, this trip was my first time on a plane. When the plane landed, I made my way to the hostel I was scheduled to room at. But oh, did the universe have a different plan in mind. I ended up getting notified after trying to check in that my card had been shut off and flagged for fraudulent activity. My bank hadn't activated the usage of international transactions. My luck. And they wouldn't be open for several hours. And the combined exhaustion from 40 hours of being awake and being stranded in a foreign country made me feel alone. I broke down crying on a side street in the middle of Dublin. As the world was flying by, here I was, just trying to stay alive and keep some composure. A couple minutes later, I remembered that a Mitchell alum, Katrina, was backpacking Europe and had recently been in Ireland. I called her. She answered rather quickly, and I felt relieved. Like, no matter how this phone call goes, a weight has just been lifted off my chest. Katrina listened as I cried, gained composure, and then explained my situation. Her kindness and willingness to walk me through the turmoil of my heightened emotions is something that words cannot describe. She reminded me that I was not alone. In a state of vulnerability, she was a lifeline and a reminder about the strength of the Mitchell Scholar community and the friends I had made. From my conversation, I realized that I wasn't alone. My journey unfolded in ways that I could never have imagined. I traveled across the country, staying in hostels and small bed and breakfasts, and even renting rooms from complete strangers. It was a humbling experience that showed me firsthand how differently people live in another, not just in another country, but within a different cultural rhythm entirely. It taught me self-respect, self-responsibility, and a kind of discipline that comes from navigating the unknown. The growth that I gained from my trip in Ireland is just one of the many ways I have been transformed by the experience of being a Mitchell Scholar. I truly do not know what my life would look like today were it not for the support of this organization, nor would I want to know. If I have learned anything these past 3 years, it's that it takes a village of support to promote growth. It has been a privilege to pay it forward to help my fellow scholars as a leader by being a campus ambassador, a wealth of knowledge, and most importantly, a friend. I could ramble on for hours, but let me conclude with this. Our backgrounds, our experiences, and our upbringings do not define who we are, and they should not define how far we can go. While I am not sure of my plans post-graduation, I am certain that I am ready to take a step forward and embrace a future that has oftentimes seemed bleak. In terms of my career, I am significantly ahead of where I would have been without this organization and this community. It is because of your support that I and all of my peers in the Mitchell Scholar Network have been and will forever be changed. Supporting Mitchell Scholars means supporting the dreams and aspirations of young people like me, who, by every measure, are the underdogs in life. We may have been dealt a difficult hand, but we are determined to play our cards the best we can to succeed. The Institute has provided us with a chance to stay in the game. By investing in our futures, you are showing young Mainers that we matter, that we belong, and that we are worthy of a fulfilling life. So, from the bottom of my heart, thank you. Thank you for believing in each of us. Thank you for seeing us in a world where coming from a disadvantaged background and upbringing makes us invisible to so many. Thank you for giving us a fair chance to not only succeed, but to also mold new perspectives on what success looks like. Thank you to the friends and the people I've met today, and thank you for giving me the chance to dream new dreams and the freedom to chase them.